tragic, really. I think both of them are very complex characters with very complex motives. And it's very easy to overlook them in these games because they are more often than not very silly in their presentation. And there is a lot of lore to follow, so a lot of it gets swept under the rug. Can I list or link a list of interesting V words? I mean, I could, but I would have to Google it, same as you. I guess pluck them from memory. How do I feel about Huey? I love his character. I hate the person. I love what they did with this character, rather. I hate. He is not a person that I would ever, ever tolerate. I don't know if the Patriot AIs have been created. I know that that was part of what Strangelove was brought on board for. I think she had a hand in it at the very least. But I don't know if they are created yet. Most likely they are in some capacity because I know that Zero uses AI, or at least one AI, to harbor all of his secrets, especially his deep, dark ones. See, Lisa, I don't know if I would shoot you in the face. I don't know if I would. Huey is a kind of person that I would have to think long and hard about whether or not I was going to let him live, knowing what he was capable of and what he had done. Not even just to me, but what the potential for him ruining the lives of so many people. Not everyone wants to fulfill the boss's wish slash ideals. Some of them are just in support of whoever is close to them, whether it be Zero or a big boss. Like Ocelot only really cares about his senpai. Big senpai. Yeah, I remember that dwarf. Yeah, you were correct. I'm trying to think if there's any more to say about Zero. I called very early on, though, that he had nothing to do with the attack on Mother Base. He wouldn't do it. Year's big boss, far too much for that. How do I feel about Quiet leaving? I mean, it makes sense. They had to do something with the character. Either kill her off or send her off. Overall, it felt like her character was wasted because she had very absurd abilities, all things considered, and she was extremely skilled, and she just disappears. She cannot be relevant to the rest of the plot because she doesn't appear anywhere else. So they had to do something with her, whether that be kill her or send her off. And that to me is, I understand it, but it still feels like a waste of a very enjoyable character conceptually. I don't know about cake. Depends on the cake. Extremely sexualized, yeah. That's always going to be a thing that bugs me. People want to argue about quiet sexualization. There's literally a scene where you shower with Quiet. They're Mother Base soldiers on the outside of the cell, cheering and catcalling Quiet. One of them calls her a naughty girl. So that, if you want to argue that the sexualization in men in these games is the same, I don't understand that train of thought. Anywho, goddamn it, Elise. Let's talk about the game on the whole. I did not get the shower scene, no, but I have seen it. But that's the thing, Liz Nightmare. Quiet isn't a love interest. She's never been portrayed in that way. She's been portrayed as explicitly sexual at points. Or rather, her character has been explicitly sexualized. The character herself isn't really sexual. Not really. She's not a love interest. They show no real interest in each other, but the character is sexualized. I do feel like the story was rushed. I feel like a lot of it was fairly pointless in the grand scheme of things. Once you get past the beginning, I would say the beginning and the end are the most important parts of this game. The rest doesn't really matter. Yeah, okay, saying she's in love with the legend, that doesn't really. To me, there's a difference between. I saw it as the kind of love that Ocelot has for Big Boss. Not something that could be translated into a romantic, genuine interest. Not like that. Yeah, I don't know if I don't know how I'd rank it among the other MGS games. I don't think it's fair to rank it. Well, okay, no, it's absolutely fair to rank it as an MGS game because it is an MGS game. But they are completely different types of games. This one is a far cry from, I think, the quality of writing and presentation as the others. Ganbarova, why do you do this? Holy crap. Thank you, Sandal. Let me check that really fast. Time to blush. Physically impossible for me to blush, but thank you. You are extremely kind and insane. I cannot thank you enough. You should not have done this. God damn it. Yeah, I can definitely appreciate your disappointment there, Kyle. The whole child soldiers thing, they touch on it, but they never really explore it. And the whole Eli thing, oh, forgot about that. I don't know, maybe I'll put that up at the end. But there's cut content with Eli and his kid buddies hanging out on an island with the English strain. Adults can't enter this island because if they do, they die because of the English strain of the vocal parasites. But they have Sahelanthropus, and XOF catches wind, and you have to get there before they do, and it's a big thing. It seemed like it would have been really neat. But it still leaves me wanting with the whole child soldiers thing because it takes cues from Lord of the Flies, but it doesn't really explore the concept of child soldiers. Yeah, Kingdom of the Flies, you know. Mission 51. What was 51? Let me take a look. No, not here. Was that truth? What is 51? I clearly do not have that. I have yet to actually do. Oh, yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, that's what I was talking about. With the whole thing with, yeah. It did, Spectre. I'm probably gonna play the other side ops on my own time. Just to kill time. It might be a kill time game. And I might also break into FOB Invasions at some point. But MGO is most likely going to occupy a lot of my time with this game. Yeah, I know Konami definitely had a hand with the content being cut. But even if it wasn't cut, it wouldn't have satisfied my my want to see more of some of the themes that this game lightly touches upon. And yeah, let's talk about the twist. The twist that people called months before the game was out. I've done a subsistence mission. I did the C2, was it C2W or C2J? C2W. I did the subsistence version of that, and it was fairly simple. I can do this one, I guess, at some point. I'm not going to do it tonight, though. Let me... I'll be muted immediately. I wish there was more purely instrumental. You know, Gray Fox was always ridiculous. Twin Snakes is... It bothers me so much. And I'm not saying the twist was bad. It was just something that everyone saw coming. People predicted months ahead of time. Not that that's a bad thing. It was just right up Kojima's alley. I was okay with it. I do wish that the person they chose for the double was someone of consequence, but I love the tie-in to MG1. That's really the only tie-in to the rest of the series, at least notable tie-in in the entire game. Liquid's around, sure, but none of that stuff ever comes up in the rest of the series. So I don't really... There's Huey who's present. He's mentioned in the rest of the series, but none of this comes up. The whole Otacon being subjected to piloting Sahelanthropus, or shoved in the cockpit at least, at like 3 years old, is never mentioned. Granted, he's 3 years old, so he wouldn't remember it, but still. There are a lot of things that happen in this that you would expect to show up later, but they don't. I thought it was going to be Gray Fox as the double, since he has met him at this point. He meets him in Portable Ops, and Gray Fox or Null at that time has a great deal of respect for Big Boss after Portable Ops, and Gray Fox is his right-hand man. So, I don't know, it made sense to me that he would be the double. He seemed like he would be the only person that he would trust to it. This music is very loud. I'm gonna stop it. Evening Grim. The DNA test that they had done was of the Phantom, which is why there was no match. Venom dies in Metal Gear 1, yeah. So it couldn't have made it Gray Fox. But it, I didn't expect them to make the Phantom relevant in Metal Gear. I didn't expect them to link the two, which is why I suspected Gray Fox, because it would have made sense if they didn't for Gray Fox to take the role. But since I did do that, yeah, they had to make it someone else. I just wish that it could have been someone we cared about or someone we knew beforehand. If they had played up the character before this, I would have been happy. I don't know, Lise. I have done all of Oz's stuff. What is black and white and goes round and round? Yeah, honestly, I was expecting Gray Fox to at least be present, because he should be at this point. Opinion on the past twist. I just shrugged. It. I enjoyed. I enjoyed the use of pause. It did. I was really annoyed that they quote retconned unquote her death, and I'm glad that they actually killed her during that explosion. I'm I'm okay with the way it was handled. It just seemed it didn't really seem relevant, which is why it was optional, I suppose. So that's okay. I'm okay with how they handled it. Do I feel as if there should be another game exploring what the real Big Boss did? Um, I think it could be, well, they can make it as interesting as they want, really. It would just be another game that would also not matter too much unless they found a way for it to matter. Well, we know what he was doing, at least partially. He was heading Foxhound. He was in the States doing something with Foxhound. So it wouldn't be too interesting. When did I realize that Venom was a phantom? Well, that was my theory since all of the trailers came out. So I've been waiting for the reveal since I started the game, since I hit play. Is Kojima able to make a new game? Does he own the rights? I'm pretty sure Konami does. I don't know if I'd be super depressed or angry, Kyle. If you. I have a feeling I know the answer to that, Jefferson, but go ahead. Do I see a future for this game? Outside of MGO, no, not really. FOB invasions might be okay. Like that might have a little longevity for people. That seems to already have its own small following. So that could be something. Yeah, that's exactly what I expected, Jefferson. God damn it, Elise. That would make sense, Penguin, but I'm not entirely convinced that Big Boss didn't want him dealt with at some point. I don't know if he wanted him dealt with right then and there. He did send a rookie. And he knew who he was. But, I don't know, I think it's a viable theory. It makes sense. I did consider the quiet being Chico thing. There was a lot of circumstantial, well, like one iota of circumstantial evidence supporting it. The whole Paz telling Chico to be quiet thing. I would have been a little annoyed if they had gone that route. But, I think it was an interesting theory nonetheless. If Kojima took the helm of a spiritual successor, I would play it. Do I agree with the 10 out of 10 that most reviewers give this game? No, I would give it a 6 or a 7. I would say 6 would be my lowest, 7 would be my highest. Cinemax, Jefferson. Don't do it, Lise. God damn it. Chico died in an explosion. I would be more angry Kyle, will ever replay this game in the future. Not through the story, no. The missions are a pain in the ass for most of it. Well, not a pain in the ass, they're just disappointing. Some of them are actually pretty satisfying to get through with perfect stealth, but going from one lackluster cutscene to the next isn't really appealing. Favorite Metal Gear game? MGS3, hands down. They do get a little repetitive because even with the game offering so much in the way of it offers so many ways to play the game. That said, in order to implement those methods of playing the game, you have to go out of your way, or you have to research the stuff, which takes time. In order to use, like, say, decoys or bolting guys up into choppers and blowing them up, you have to set that up. You have to go out of your way to do it. It's not a practical way of playing, I don't think. There are more efficient ways to do it. Lack of interior environments. Yeah, that was kind of a bummer. I would have enjoyed sneaking inside of facilities. That would have been nice. Thank you, Benny. See, it's not really open world. It's sandboxy. And I'm definitely stealing that descriptor for MASH. But yeah, it's very much, there are two different, albeit large, areas for you to explore, Afghanistan and Africa. And they have little nuggets of variation within the outposts. But it's still very much enclosed, and the outposts don't change. And what's more is that even the enemies within them don't change too much. They might have different equipment, but the patterns still remain the same. I don't know if I'm going to try to get the Raiden suit. I might. The Kakongo outbreak was kind of annoying. I didn't much care for it. My completion percentage is where do I see that? Wait, no, that's for those. The music is good. Oh, that is an interesting concept, Antimatter. If people do mod other if they recreate other games in the Fox engine, I will be elated. I'll gladly spend the money on that game if I can run through MGS1 in the Fox engine. Or MGS2. I don't know how MGS3 would work, that'd be weird. Right back at you, Broken Shadow.